You're scrolling through your phone, and a notification pops up, new job opening at a top company. Your heart races. You immediately start imagining the salary, the title, the respect. But then, a strange thought creeps in, what if I'm not ready? You pause. The excitement curdles into anxiety. You've been here before, chasing something shiny, only to feel empty when you got it. But what if the real wisdom isn't in chasing, but in holding back? What if the most powerful move you can make is to appear uncertain, even hesitant? 2,600 years ago, a man on a water buffalo left the city gates of Luoyang, disappearing into the western desert. Before he vanished, he wrote a short text, just 5,000 characters. That text, the Tao Te Ching, holds a secret about the kind of person who truly understands life. It's not the loudest or the fastest. It's someone who moves like water in winter. Imagine that, a frozen river, treacherous and slow. Every step is a question. But the ancient masters, these were people who had seen through the illusions of power and fame. They knew that the world rushes, but rushing leads to collapse. They chose hesitation as a discipline. In a culture that worships speed, they cultivated slowness. In a world that demands certainty, they embraced doubt. This isn't about being indecisive. It's about being so deeply aware that you refuse to be fooled by appearances. The man on the water buffalo, Lao Tzu, though history isn't sure he existed, he wrote for a border guard, but really for anyone who feels the weight of a frantic world. His words are a whisper across millennia. The wise are not those who know, but those who remain unknowable. They are like the winter river, cold, deep, and moving unseen beneath the ice. To the casual observer, they look frozen, even dead. But underneath, a powerful current flows. That's the paradox of the Tao. The most alive are often the most still. The most powerful are often the most yielding. So as you sit here, with your notifications and your endless to-do list, consider, what if the greatest act of rebellion is to simply stop, and be like that winter water? Lao Tzu writes about the ancient masters of the Tao. He says they were so subtle, so profound, that they were beyond description. But because he had to describe them, he offered this, the ancient masters of the way, subtle and profoundly connected, profound and beyond comprehension. Only because they are unknowable, therefore, I reluctantly describe them, hesitant, like crossing a frozen river in winter, hesitant, as if fearing the neighbors on all four sides, solemn and respectful, like a guest, melting like ice about to dissolve, simple and unadorned, like uncarved wood, open and spacious, like a valley, muddled, like muddy water. Who can be still and gradually become clear? Who can be still and gradually become clear? Who can remain at rest and, through long movement, gradually come to life? Those who hold to this way do not seek fullness. Like melting ice, they dissolve. Uncarved wood, they are simple. An open valley, they are spacious. Muddy water, they are mixed. Who can clarify the muddy through stillness? Who can stir the still into life through movement? Those who hold this path do not seek fullness. Thus they can be renewed by remaining in obscurity. Only by not being full, thus they can be renewed by remaining in obscurity. In English, the ancient masters were subtle, mysterious, deep, and unknowable. Because they were unknowable, I can only describe them vaguely, cautious as crossing a winter river, alert as if surrounded by enemies, dignified as a guest, yielding like ice about to melt, simple as an uncarved block, open as a valley, and murky as muddy water. Who can be still and let the mud settle? Who can remain at rest and slowly come to life? Those who hold this Tao do not desire fullness. Because they are not full, they can be worn out and yet renewed. Lao Tzu gives us a portrait of wisdom that feels almost contradictory. The wise person is cautious like crossing a frozen river in winter, every step deliberate, aware that the ice might crack. They are alert like a guest in a stranger's home, never presumptuous. They yield like melting ice, yet they are solid as an uncarved block. They are open as a valley, receiving everything, and murky as muddy water, unclear, unfathomable. This isn't weakness. It's a profound strength that doesn't need to prove itself. Modern culture celebrates certainty, speed, and confidence. But Lao Tzu suggests that true depth comes from embracing hesitation, uncertainty, and incompleteness. The phrase not desiring fullness is key. Fullness implies completion, but also rigidity. When you're full, you can't receive anything new. When you're empty, you can hold the whole world. The wise person remains like a valley, always open, always receptive. They don't need to be the loudest voice. They don't need to have all the answers. They trust the process of stillness, letting the mud settle so the water becomes clear. This is not passivity. It's active patience. It's the art of letting things unfold naturally, without forcing outcomes. In a world that screams for attention, this ancient wisdom offers a quiet revolution. Consider the metaphor of the valley. It is low, humble, yet it sustains life. Rain flows into it, streams gather, and the valley never complains. It simply receives. The wise person is like that, not pushing, not striving, but allowing. When you allow, you become a container for possibility. The ice will melt on its own. The mud will settle if you stop stirring. The modern mind is addicted to stirring, constant activity, constant planning, constant worry. But the Tao teaches that the highest form of action is non-action, Wu Wei. Not doing nothing, but doing without forcing. Like water which finds its way around obstacles without effort. The master's caution is not fear, it is respect for the unknown. Their alertness is not paranoia, it is presence. Their simplicity is not naivety, it is clarity. And their murkiness is not confusion, it is depth. To be deep is to be unseen, like the roots of a tree. The branches may sway in the wind, but the roots hold firm in the dark. So when you feel the pressure to be certain, remember, the deepest waters are the most still. Think about your closest relationships. When a friend or partner is upset, what's your first instinct? Often, it's to fix it, to offer advice, to make everything okay. But Lao Tzu's master would do the opposite. They would sit in the discomfort, like crossing a winter river. They would listen without rushing to speak. They would be like a guest in the other person's emotional home, respectful, not intrusive. This kind of presence is rare. It says, I don't have to solve this. I just need to be here. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you create space for genuine connection. The mud settles. The water clears. And the other person feels truly seen, not managed. In arguments, the wise person doesn't need to win. They let the conflict dissolve like ice melting. They remain simple and open, not defensive. This is how trust deepens. It's not about having the right words. It's about having the right silence. Imagine a friend tells you they are struggling with a career decision. Your instinct might be to list options, pros and cons. But the master would pause, become like a valley, and simply hold the space. They might say, that sounds heavy. Tell me more. No solutions, just presence. This is the art of being with. In a world that measures love by doing, the Tao reminds us that being is enough. When you are cautious as a winter river, you don't rush to cross, you test the ice. When you are alert as a guest, you don't assume you know the house. You wait to be invited. This patience creates a sanctuary. The other person feels safe to be murky, to not have answers. And in that safety, clarity emerges naturally. The master doesn't force the river to flow, they simply remove the dam. So next time someone shares a pain, try this, sit with them in silence for a full minute. Let the mud settle. You might be surprised at what clears. Now consider your work life. You're in a meeting, and someone proposes a bold new strategy. Everyone around the table nods eagerly. But something feels off. The wise person, like the ancient master, would pause. They would be cautious as if crossing a frozen river. They would ask questions that reveal cracks in the ice. This hesitation isn't cowardice, it's discernment. In a culture that rewards quick decisions, the ability to slow down and say, "Let's think about this more," is a superpower. Lao Tzu's master is also like an uncarved block, simple, not flashy. They don't need to impress with jargon or complexity. They communicate with clarity. And they remain open as a valley, welcoming input from everyone, even the quietest voice. This approach builds resilient teams. It prevents reckless moves. It also protects your own energy. When you're not desperate to prove yourself, you can focus on what truly matters. The master doesn't strive for fullness. They know that the best leaders are often invisible, letting others shine. Imagine a project where everyone is rushing to meet a deadline. The master would step back, assess the ice, and say, "We might be moving too fast. Let's test the assumptions first." This might frustrate some, but it saves time in the long run. The master's alertness, alert, as if fearing the neighbors on all sides, is like being aware of every stakeholder, every risk. Not from fear, but from respect. They treat the project like a guest in their home. They serve it, but don't let it take over. They yield like melting ice, adapting to new information without breaking. And they remain murky, not revealing all their cards, keeping options open. In negotiations, this is powerful. The one who doesn't need to win often does. So at work, try the Winter River pause. Before you speak, count to 3. Before you decide, sleep on it. The Tao's way is not to fill the meeting with words, but to let the silence speak. Perhaps the most powerful application is to your inner life. You have a voice in your head that constantly judges, plans, and worries. It tells you that you need to be more, do more, have more. Lao Tzu's master offers a different way. Imagine your mind as a glass of muddy water. The more you shake it, trying to fix yourself, achieve goals, eliminate flaws, the murkier it gets. But if you simply set the glass down and wait, the mud settles naturally. The water becomes clear. This is the art of stillness brings clarity. Stilling the mud so it slowly clears. You don't have to fight your thoughts. You don't have to purify yourself. You just need to stop stirring. The master is a murky, like muddy water. They appear murky, even confused. But that murkiness is a sign of depth, not deficiency. When you accept your own complexity, you stop needing to present a perfect image. You can be both cautious and open, yielding and solid. This self-acceptance is the foundation of genuine peace. The master doesn't seek fullness, they embrace being worn out, knowing that renewal comes from emptiness. Consider your own mental habits. You might wake up and immediately reach for your phone, stirring the mud before your feet even touch the floor. The master would lie still for a moment, feeling the breath, allowing the mind to be like a valley. No rush to fill the space. In meditation, you might try to clear your mind, but that's another form of striving. Instead, just watch the mud. Let the thoughts come and go without grabbing them. This is the practice of a letting be. Over time, the water clears on its own. You don't have to force it. The Tao teaches that the universe operates in cycles, from fullness to emptiness, from clarity to murkiness, from action to rest. By embracing the murky periods, you allow renewal. So when you feel confused or incomplete, don't panic. That's the Tao working. You are being hollowed out to receive something new. The master knows that the cup must be empty to be filled. So sit with your mud. Let it settle. Clarity will come, not from effort, but from stillness. Consider the Japanese tea master Sen no Rikyu, who embodied this Taoist spirit. In the 16th century, he transformed the tea ceremony into an art of simplicity. He rejected lavish decorations, preferring rustic, imperfect bowls. He taught that the most profound beauty lies in the incomplete, the humble, the worn. When a powerful warlord showed off a golden tea room, Rikyū quietly arranged a single wildflower in a bamboo vase. The warlord was speechless. Rikyū's life was marked by caution. He navigated the dangerous politics of his time with graceful hesitation. He was like a guest in his own life, never presuming. And when he was ordered to commit ritual suicide, he performed his final tea ceremony with perfect stillness, then wrote a death poem, Welcome to the Tea House of Emptiness. He died as he lived, empty, open, and renewed. Rikyū's story shows that the ancient master's qualities are timeless. They are not about retreating from the world, but moving through it with a quiet, unshakable depth. Rikyū's tea ceremony was a practice of wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection. He would use a bowl with a crack, and see the crack as the most interesting part. This is the Taoist uncarved block, the simple, unadorned state. In a world obsessed with perfection, Rikyū chose to be murky, to embrace the flawed. His caution was not timidity, it was a deep awareness of the fragility of life. He knew that power is fleeting, but a moment of true presence is eternal. When he served tea, he was like a winter river, every movement deliberate, every gesture full of meaning. He didn't rush. He didn't try to impress. He simply offered the tea, and in that offering, he gave everything. The warlord, despite his golden room, learned that emptiness is the greatest luxury. Rikyū's life ended in death, but his spirit lives on in every imperfect bowl, every quiet moment. You too can embody this, not by doing more, but by being more present in what you do. The next time you make a cup of tea, or coffee, do it like Rikyū. Slow down. Notice the warmth of the cup. Let the steam rise. In that simple act, you touch the eternal. 3 things you can do today to embody this wisdom. First, practice the winter river pause. Before you make any decision, big or small, take 3 slow breaths. Imagine the ice beneath your feet. Let the hesitation be a gift, not a weakness. This pause disrupts the autopilot of reactivity. You can do it before sending an email, before answering a question, before choosing what to eat. It's a small act of rebellion against the speed of modern life. Second, embrace being murky. For one conversation today, resist the urge to have a clear opinion. Instead, ask questions. Stay open. Let the other person's words settle like mud. You might say, I'm not sure. What do you think? This vulnerability creates space for deeper understanding. It also relieves you of the burden of needing to be right. Third, create a not full moment. Clear your desk, your schedule, or your mind of one thing. Leave a space empty. Notice how that emptiness feels. It's not lack, it's possibility. You could delete an app from your phone, leave a blank page in your journal, or simply sit in silence for 5 minutes. The emptiness is not a void to be filled, it's a vessel for the next beginning. These small acts will slowly reshape your inner landscape, aligning you with the Tao's quiet power. Over time, you'll find that caution becomes wisdom, murkiness becomes depth, and emptiness becomes freedom. The Master's way is not a goal to achieve, but a path to walk. Each step on the winter river is a practice of trust. The ice may crack, but you learn to move lightly. And when you fall into the water, which is the Tao itself, always there, always flowing. So start today. Pause. Be murky. Leave a space empty. The ancient masters are not gone, they live in these simple acts. Emptiness isn't a void. It's a vessel for the next beginning. So the next time you feel the pressure to be certain, to be full, to be something, remember the ancient master. Cautious as winter ice. Open as a valley. Murky as life itself. That is the path. Not to become more, but to be deeply, quietly, here.